Hi everyone, I'm Nathan from the ebookreader.com. I just got done posting this review of the Archos 97 Titanium HD tablet, so I thought I'd go ahead and put together this video here to show you guys, give you guys a closer look at this tablet in action. So I picked this tablet up a couple of weeks ago. It's one of the first tablets to have a screen similar to the Apple iPad 3 and 4. It's got the 9.7-inch screen, and it's got the high resolution screen for the 20 by 48 resolution by 15 by 36, so that's pretty much the exact same kind of screen as the Apple iPad. That's what really intrigued me about it. I wanted to go ahead and check out how it compares to the iPad and how the screen looks on the Android interface here. So this thing runs Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, and it has a dual-core 1.6 gigahertz processor, 8 gigabytes of internal storage, and it's also got a micro SD card slot up here so you can add more storage space. And we've also got a micro USB port, headphone jack, and there's a charger port over here and a microphone. On the back there's a 5 megapixel camera. We've got some buttons over here for volume and power on. Then there's a couple of speakers, one right here and then one on that corner. So that's pretty much it as far as the exterior goes. It's got this aluminum casing on the back, and it sort of wraps around the sides. So I really like the build quality. It feels really solid in your hand. It feels nice and sturdy. There's no like creakiness to it or anything. There's definitely feels like it has good build quality. I do really like this screen. It's not quite as nice as the iPad screen. Like, the color's not quite as bright. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail right here. I'll probably do a different comparison between those. But as far as the brightness goes, I have it turned up all the way right here. It's not quite as bright and it's not quite as dim. With the iPad, you can go really super dim at night when you're reading, which is really nice. So you got to kind of use a filter app if you want to get it dimmer on here. This may look dim on here, but when you have all the lights off, it's really not that dim. But as far as this goes, the screen, I do really like the screen. It is very nice for comics and for magazines, which is supposed to show right here. It just sort of disappeared apparently. That's something that happens with Android sometimes. You do have some quirks. So as far as magazines go, the screen is very well suited for magazines, I think, just because of this particular size. Also, comics work very well with this particular size. It just that's one of the main reasons I wanted to get it, just because of this unique screen size with the 9.7-inch 4:3 ratio, and then you got that high resolution, so everything is really crisp and clear. The text is all crisp and clear. The small text here, you really don't need to zoom in like you would normally with other tablets. So this definitely does make for a good e-reading tablet. I've got the Kindle app installed on here. Got some other apps installed on here for ebooks and PDFs and comics. As you can see, it's not exactly the fastest tablet. Sometimes when you hit an app, it takes it a few seconds to load sometimes. I don't know what the slowdown is with that, but it's not quite as fast as some other tablets in that regard. The 1.6 gigahertz processor is pretty speedy, but sometimes, like I said, it'll just lag a little bit like it did with loading that book right there. So what I really like about this screen is the text is just as clear as can be. There's no pixelization. Even when you go to the smallest font sizes on books like this, you can just really read the text clearly, and that's just because of the high resolution screen. I tend to like it in landscape mode, actually. You get the 2 columns. It just seems to be a really kind of nice way to lay out the book, and it's very clear. Like I said, the text is very clear. So the viewing angles, it has an IPS screen, so the viewing angles are actually really good on it too. You're probably just getting lots of glare here with the light, but I assure you the viewing angles are really good with this screen. I really do like the screen overall. The main problem I have with this device is just the Wi-Fi doesn't seem to be very strong. Right now I've got it connected to my T-Mobile hotspot because it just kind of is being finicky connected to my home router, where it connects and then it gets slow. It just doesn't seem to have very good range as far as Wi-Fi. That's definitely one of the biggest cons I mentioned in the written review here, if you wanted to check that out for some additional info. But otherwise, I've so far had good luck with this tablet. It got a surprisingly high quadrant score. I wasn't expecting it to be that high. It's a little bit higher than the Asus Transformer Prime. It's up here at 4252, so it does score well on there. Some of the games I noticed that I tried, like Riptide GP plays really smooth, and so does Dead Trigger. The problem with Temple Run is it's really jittery, so I don't know what the specific deal with that is. It runs smooth on other tablets that I've tested. Just this particular tablet is just having some issues running it smoothly. Let me show you here. It's just a little jittery. I mean, it's still playable, but as you can see, it's just a little jittery instead of being as smooth as it is on other tablets. So I loaded up this game just to show you by contrast. It definitely plays smoother than Temple Run, and the graphics are really clear. So it just sort of depends on the game, I suppose. This probably isn't going to be the high-end gaming tablet as some of the other tablets out there. It's definitely not as high-end like as the Apple iPad, for instance. But it's still adequate and looks good for a lot of games like that. It just seems to have problems with Temple Run for some reason. So this tablet works well for reading comics, of course, with this screen size. I've noticed that the text is very easy to read. It's nice and clear. You don't need to do any zooming at all. So that's definitely the advantage to tablets with this larger screen size. You don't have to do the guided view. You don't have to do the zoom in mode at all. You can just go ahead and just use full screen. It's like more like a real comic that way. I think they do look really good on the screen, so that's definitely the strong point of this device is e-reading, I think, because with the high resolution screen, it makes for web browsing. It's very, very nice. That's probably the best thing with high resolution screens like this with the bigger screen and the high resolution is like really small text like this. You normally have to like zoom in and like stuff like this, but I mean it's as clear as can be on when you have this high resolution screen right here. So like even the super tiny text up here, I mean it's just really clear. So this tablet comes with full support for Google Apps. Everything comes on here already. You got the Google Play Store, so you can get apps and movies and music through here. It's definitely makes it a lot easier without having to deal with the hassle of sideloading apps. So you can load that on here. You can load other app stores, of course, if you want to load the Amazon App Store too. You can get their free app every day. So that definitely has the advantage with the Google apps, and the Google apps do work well. YouTube videos play nice and smooth. Let me go ahead and show you a video. So here's a quick look at an HD YouTube video. Everything streams nice and smooth. The again, the screen is very clear. Colors are very bright, and everything's nice and detailed and crisp. So videos definitely are playing well on this. Netflix works well too. The one thing though, this tablet doesn't have an HDMI port, so you're not going to be able to stream it to your TV easily. That's one of the limitations as far as that goes. It also doesn't have Bluetooth, so that's a couple of things this tablet lacks, but definitely makes up for with the low price. I got this for $250. Okay, one thing I noticed that's odd about this device is sometimes the home screen gets uncentered. The icons will get uncentered. Right now they're centered. The way to fix it is just to switch the rotation to landscape and then back to portrait, and it will get back to centered. Sometimes they'll be like off centered for a little bit. It's kind of strange, but so that does fix that. So with Android 4.0, you got all the widgets. You got the like your web browser widget right here. You can resize these and do different things with them. We got all the different app icons in here, so you can add different apps to your home screen, and we've got all the different widgets over here. So Archos has their own video and music player apps that come with this. I have not messed with them because I don't really want to fragment my library anymore, but you do have the options for that. As far as like spamware, there doesn't really anything come on this tablet. This is basically the setup. It comes with I mean, it gives you the option during the setup to install some third-party apps. Somehow mine got lost along the way. I had to do a factory reset at one point because this device was acting up, but it's been fine ever since. Everything seems to be smooth now. It did a firmware update, and so I haven't had any issues with that again. So, but the apps that did come pre-installed did disappear. There was like this goo game and stuff. I don't know what happened to those. So there are, like I was saying, the widgets. Obviously with Android 4.0 you can add all these different widgets to your home screens to customize the device even further. So that's like one of the main advantages over like the Apple system where you just have the icons on the home screen. This one you can actually go ahead and put all these different widgets. You can really customize the background here. This is the background that comes with this is the really bright background just to show off the screen. I think it's a little bit too bright for my taste, but this may look familiar from the pictures. There's also the live wallpapers. I don't really use live wallpapers much because they kind of slow the system down just enough to be a little bit more laggy, but they are an option. So Jelly Bean doesn't support Flash Player, but actually Flash Player does work. That comes with the older version of Flash Player. It automatically installs the first time you open the browser. It also comes with Chrome. Chrome seems to lag on me too much. I don't know, here lately I haven't been using Chrome a lot. I've been using the stock browser. So like I said, it comes with the Google apps. We've got all the Google set up. The Google Maps app seems to run smoother on this than it does on my Asus Transformer for some reason. So yeah, definitely liking the Maps app. So one strange thing I noticed here in settings is this device has a option in display for display mode normal or display mode HD. I don't really know what this means exactly. I've never seen this setting before. I've messed with it a few different times and I really can't see any difference with HD mode than normal mode. And I've done a lot of comparisons with small text with websites. I don't know, it all looks the same to me. It's kind of a strange mode. I'm not exactly sure what the point of that is. So this device has 8 gigs onboard storage, and you can use the micro SD card slot, of course, and it's also got that micro USB port. You can plug peripherals in, like I plugged in a keyboard right there with the small adapter, and it works well. Actually, the keyboards work well. You can plug in different stuff using that, so it's got USB host support, so that's pretty nice advantage. Battery life, I was worried about battery life being pretty bad with this device, just because it has all the extra pixels to power it, but it's actually turned out to be pretty typical of a budget tablet. I think I've been getting about the 6-7 hour range. It's definitely not as bad as like the Kobe tablet I tested last year, which was like 3 or 4 hours. So it's definitely, it seems to be average. It actually charges really fast. You can't charge it with a USB port though. You got to carry an extra charger around. It's got a specific charger port, but it does charge fast in a couple of hours, so that is definitely an advantage over my iPad, which takes about as long to charge as it does to discharge. So I did like to see the fact that at least the charger charges it fast. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this review right here. Check out the ebookreader.com. I got that written review posted for some additional details. Like I said, the Wi-Fi doesn't seem to be the greatest on this device, but I do really like the HD screen is very nice. I'll be glad to see more tablets starting to come out with these screens comparable with the Apple iPad in the near future. It's definitely its strongest point is the screen. It definitely is very nice, and the Android operating system is pretty smooth as well. Like I said, I had a couple of glitches here and there, and apps don't always load really fast. Like if you hit something there, it does take it a few seconds sometimes, and it just sort of hangs a little bit. But otherwise, it's been a pretty stable tablet for me. I haven't had many other issues other than the Wi-Fi issues that I mentioned. And well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this review. Check out thebookreader.com, like I said, and thank you for watching.